Thank you for logging in to ietvcanada.com. The industry is back with all new hot topics. Tonight's topic is one that you want to really pay attention to. Before we do that though, I would love for you to take a look at this documentary that's about to view. Take a look.
How do the Korean retailers get the money to start up these beauty supply stores? To find out, I traveled to the University of California at Berkeley and spoke with Professor John Lee.
Many of the ones that started recently came from South Korea that was much more enriched. So by selling their farm or by selling their apartment, they could have this initial pot of money to start relatively small businesses in urban areas. Furthermore, they had encouragement, sometimes quite explicitly in terms of funding by relatives, friends, and other sorts of religious or whatnot networks to provide them with money to start their business. So it's fair to say that there are all sorts of formal and informal means by which Korean Americans and South Korean business people dominate the market and are implicitly unwilling to let competition challenge their dominance.
So the two magazines, they're all in Korean.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does that seem like fair business practice?
Yeah, well, as I said before, this is one of the mechanisms by which South Koreans and Korean American merchants ensure the domination of the market.
It's OTC. OTC.
Later, I learned that what we're seeing now, the Korean domination of the black hair industry, had its start back in the early 60s with the help of both the Korean government and the United States government. This is Chosun, one of the most respected newspapers in South Korea. And it's inside the archives of this newspaper that I discovered a document from 1965 in which the wig manufacturers in Korea convinced the Korean government to ban the export of raw hair, making it impossible for anyone to manufacture wigs from the highly desirable Korean hair population except for the Korean manufacturers themselves. And 6 months after the Korean ban on the export of hair, the United States government banned the import of any wig that contained hair from China. This ban on Chinese wigs virtually locked in the wig business for these South Korean merchants. So it seems that what we're seeing today, the Korean domination of the black hair industry, had its start with the help of both the Korean and the United States government almost 40 years ago.
You blow the whistle on what's going on, just like we were discussing now, and inform people. They'll be surprised and delighted too.
Well, I think people are informed, but I mean, black people as a whole, they just don't have much unity as Koreans do, or any other race. We just doesn't have much unity as a whole. We don't stick together.
Well, you know, this is a new millennium, and people, if they look at the past, and perhaps they can deduce from that they can change the future based on the past.
They can. But the young people have to be enlightened. The black dollar needs to be spent with your black people as much as possible.
We kind of take each other for granted sometimes, but I think when things like this happen, we always seem to come together like other tragedies. And, you know, human nature allows us to do that.
We can come together for human tragedies, but when it comes down to the almighty dollar, that's not the case. They did not seem to pull together for the dollar.
Denny's Restaurant, Oakland, California. Here, members of the black beauty supply industry in Northern California have gathered to discuss the Korean domination of their industry and the possibility of creating an organization to take back the black hair industry.
Now, we used to have a total monopoly on this beauty business. Now we've lost. It's only about 2 or 3 of us in Oakland now, and it used to be nothing but us in Oakland purchasing these products.
Most of the beauty supplies in the Bay Area, Korean beauty supplies, they have organizations. And their organization, most of the time, they tell who to sell and who not to sell. Like 5 years ago or 4 years ago, when micro yak was so popular and so hot, they wouldn't sell to me. And the reason they wouldn't sell to me is like Glamorous and Ebony told them not to sell. And sometimes we used to order through Ahmed, like Merit Beard Supply, because they don't see.
They don't think you're black. The Koreans don't think you're black.
No, I mean when they call me, they think that I'm a Korean store.
Are you black or Asian? How do you feel about that? Are you black or Asian? I was like,
that's crazy.
What does that have to do with me purchasing a product from you?
So, since they can't sell it to us, why we can't sue them?
Thank you. We have people that are able to get these hair products.
Right.
I think that's where we need to start. And then we go to the next level, because if they don't want to sell to you, they will figure out a way not to sell to you. A lawsuit will just make them even stronger-willed about it.
The way I'm looking at it, if you walked into Macy's discriminated against you, what would you do?
Well, you know what? It's a whole different world. You have more. Okay.
If you don't tell me nothing, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Okay.
Lawsuits may get the attention. Bad publicity may get the attention. But you know what will get the attention? Money. If your money does not go to them and it goes to somebody else, and then once you start giving money, you start swaying the way they think.
There was quite a few, actually, questions that came up. And one particular was Cleantex. Is one of the only black-owned manufacturers who actually manufacture beauty supply, not only here, but also hair product. However, Cleantex is being accusing the Asians of not carrying their product. We're going to explore that a little bit furthermore when we return, but I do really want you to pay attention to the documentary that's about to film. It is a live show, so you know what we're going to do since we're waiting for the documentary to upload? Meantime, we are here with Mr. Taz from QBS. This man has been established since 2005, is that correct?
Yeah, since 2005.
And he has been treating the sisters like queens, the way we were meant to be treated. So we're here today to have a little, conversation as opposed to how does he feel about this topic. So before we get to the documentary, because it's taking a little bit quite long, it's a live show, so you gotta, get up.
True.
Right? Welcome to the industry.
Well, thank you for having me,
Anytime. So how do you feel about tonight's topic?
Well, it's a very interesting topic, it's a big topic, and it's a topic that needs to be, tapped into, you know what I'm saying? So it's a good look.
And how did you get into the market? Because I would like for you to, let us know a little bit
about
it.
Man, yeah, it's been about 8 years now, you know what I mean? And my family, my sister, my mom, they used to do hair and stuff, so I kind of been like in the hair family, you know what I mean? And one day I seen a beauty supply for sale, and I just seen it and I was interested in it, and I didn't know nothing about it, and I just went ahead and took it and I learned from there. So from then till now we're doing it, you know what I mean?
I noticed. I've been seeing your name all over Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah, we take the social networking and promote it very seriously, you have to get yourself out there and let people know who you are, you know what I'm saying? Make money, promotion, you know what I mean?
And how do you feel about this hot topic about BASA, the American Beauty Supply for Black Americans? How do you feel about the accusation that the Koreans are taking over, or let me just put it in terminology, monopolizing on our people?
Yeah, but it's not even an accusation, it's actually true, you know what I mean? They taking over the market, and the most important thing is that they don't even use the product, you know what I mean? So they're taking over the market and they're bringing all of that $1 billion, because it is a $1 billion industry, and they're taking all that money and just keeping it within their community, you know what I mean? So they're selling us the product and then taking the money and just putting it in their community. So You know, it really hurts, you know what I mean? Because they're not giving back to the community. They just take from the community for their own, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it really hurts because the black people need to come and support the black store so we can be in a position to bring back the money in our community, you know what I mean?
Well, upon researching this, I found out that back in 2004, alone, at that time, was a $1.5 billion industry.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the majority of that money is all going to Asian.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What do you suggest for people to do? How do we get the word out there for people to start supporting our own? It's not about a race issue at this point, it's about who's supporting us.
Well, you know what it is, at the end of the day, we got to get the word out there. It's not easy, but I think with a lot of education and teaching the young people, what I find, the more mature people, like the older people, they kind of understand, and they'll be like, okay, you know what, I'll spend my money with you or whatever. But the young people, they don't really think too much. They just want to know where they can get the quickest thing at the cheapest price, you know what I mean? So I think all of us, we just have to educate one another in terms of supporting your own. Because really and truly, Koreans, they don't buy anything from anybody, even if it's cheaper. It doesn't really matter. They have to keep the money within the community. So if we continue to practice that, you know what I mean, and teach our young people that, in the next 20, 25 years, we should be good.
And has it affected you? Have you seen a difference in how hair sales between 2005 until present? Have you seen a decrease in
Oh yeah,
sales?
definitely. There's been a big decrease compared to 2005 and now, because back then there was a minimal amount of stores. Now there's so much stores everywhere you go. They're like the beauty supply stores are like corner stores. Everywhere there is one, you know what I mean? So definitely the sales is going to decrease for people, but it's a competitive market, and people like me, whether they're Korean or not, we have to stay grounded and stay focused and do what we can to get the people out there. So whether Korean or not, QBS have to stay focused and stay fighting, you know what I mean?
Okay, and how are you staying focused?
Well, I'm staying focused by sitting here with you, you know what I mean? Doing this nice interview, reaching out to all of the people, social network, you know what I mean? We also do events and little things here and there, so we're getting the word out there slowly but surely. So, you know what I mean? I'm grateful and thank God for the success we have thus far.
Okay, and now for the sisters out there, when they come to your store, say like after tonight, obviously, because you know you've been aware of the situation. Thanks to social networking, you know, we're able to get this message across in Canada because we've been doing that in California, Atlanta, Florida, but we've never touched on a topic like that in Canada.
It's true.
So how do you feel, for example, when I was researching, according to Bobsa, the Koreans are apparently duplicating even the chemicals. And that's why they're able to sell it cheap. How do you feel? Is that somewhat a truth, or how do you feel about it?
Well, me specifically, I don't know 100% if it's true, but I've been hearing the stories over the years. Like, you know what I mean? They make the hair and put it in a different package. You know what I mean? That way they're able to sell it cheaper than anybody else because it's a different hair, and they just put the hair in a different package. But I said I can't attest to that, but it's just rumors I've been hearing for like years now, so it's nothing new, you know what I mean? But we, the small store, black store, we just do it right. We get it right from the manufacturer and we sell it to you. So you're not gonna buy something for $5.99 and then you put iron on it and then it burns. You know what I mean?
That's right, and that leads me to the next question. For example, how do you feel that the Canadian government has no control over the hair market? Actually, they have not set a standard. Therefore, if a package says 100% human hair, and then in a little small black bracket, because it happened to me before, sisters, I know it happened to you before. They put, but nobody really reads that, right? How do you feel that there's no control? Like there's nothing being set for that? That's how some of these stores are getting away with it.
It's kind of hard. It's a hard industry to kind of curb and kind of straighten out. But at the end of the day, I mean, government's role in this, it's very hard for the government, I think, to play a role in it, because at the end of the day, it's business on a different level. You know what I mean? I think it's up to the consumers and the customers for them to pay really more attention and just don't look at the cheapness. You know what I mean? Don't look at the 99 cents. Let's look at the value of the product. So forget about how cheap it is. Try to make sure it's 100% human hair, not 100% human hair quality. You know what I mean? So it's up to us as consumers and as customers to make sure that, we know exactly. If you don't want to leave your house, you can shop online, www.queensbeautysupplies, ietvcanada.com, and you know, UPS delivered to your house and yada yada yada.
And what's your address?
Oh yeah, we're right here in Brampton. Right at Airport Road in Bavaria. You can't miss us. Phone number is 905-799-7703. You can follow us on Twitter at QBS1, Facebook QBS Queens Beauty Supply, Instagram Queens Beauty Supply, BBM Pin, yada yada yada.
You hear that, sisters? This man on all the social networks. We can
hook to him.
That's right, all hooked to
Yeah, when I hook to what's up.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
What's up? I don't know if you can't find this brother, then I don't know, but you have to listen to him because first of all, this man has been, you actually came from a background of no hair, except for your sister and your mother.
When I did this, I didn't even know what hair color looked like, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we're a quick learner, so anything you put us in, we have to make it work, you know what I mean? So from not knowing what color, what hair looks like till now, you know what I mean? So it's just to give thanks, you know, for just getting the knowledge as I go along.
That's right. And you also mentioned something about promotion.
Yeah,
so you have something upcoming.
Yeah, we do some every now and then. We do parties. We do this particular party like 2 times a year. You know what I mean? Me, Biggs, Yellow, Lady Bashman. You know what I mean? Magnificent is this February 16th at the Rocks. The Valentine's Day edition. I adore you. You know what I mean? First 100 ladies, you're gonna get roses, red carpet, giveaways, Victoria's Secret. You know, it's gonna be a good look. So come out and support the team. You can get your tickets at Queen's Beauty Supply, or Candy Apple Nails, Missy at the shop. You know, Biggs 4000 Lifeline. It's a good look.
Well, I don't think anybody else could say it better than you can because at the end of the day, I mean, you're on all the social networks. We cannot miss you. So once again, ladies, www.queensbeautysupply.com. He's on Instagram, BBM, Facebook. Like the page, find him 905-799-7703. And don't forget, Magnificent.
It's gonna be magnificent.
February 16th. First 100 ladies gets what? Roses and Victoria's Secret?
Yeah, Victoria's Secret photos.
Boy, Lisa, we better make it early. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so make sure, and also remember, next time you're about to go buy your hair, think about where you're buying your hair from. What has that store done for your community? What have they done? I've been seeing you all over, so at least we know who QBS is. If you wanted to be treated like a queen, guess where you need to go? QBS.
That's like second emotion. And even if you don't come to me, just try to find the nearest, you know what I mean, black store, African American store to go to, so you don't necessarily have to come to me, but to support the cause. Yeah.
Okay, well, at the same time, just so that we just make sure that all this information that we brought up here, we have to also do a disclaimer because it's not coming directly from IETV.
Yeah.
This is all obtained through the internet. YouTube, you can look it up, look up the information, type in black hair industry, who's making the bigger bucks, who should you be supporting, whatever, just look it up. Do a little bit of research for yourself. I mean, what we're doing here alone is not going to stop everybody from, you know, continuing to support whoever they want to support. But we can definitely take a step towards it and do something about it. So, QBS, any last word to anybody else you want to say?
No, I just want to say big up to the whole Toronto, Brampton. And then I mean, always supporting me. I love the support, and I wish everybody a happy new year. You know what I mean? And just let's spread the love and support Queen's Beauty Supply, and let's party at Magnificent. It's a good look. Yeah.
Where was it located?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Magnificent is going to be at the Rocks, 1600 Steeles Avenue at Dufferin. So you can't miss it. You know what I mean? And if you want any information, just call me 905-799-7703 to get your tickets or whatever.
Okay, well, we'll be back. Our next guest is going to be from Avalon Celebrity Unisex Hair Salon, and she will be here to cover some of the natural ways you can do your hair. We'll be right back. IETV Canada. Thank you. Welcome back, ietvcanada.com. This is the industry, and right just now we have, of course, our next celebrity stylist. Her salon name is Celebrity Unisex Salon, and it's located actually in
3133 Shepherd Avenue in Scarborough.
There you go. Now this lady, Avalon, Miss Avalon, she specialized in natural. Let me just stretch that word, natural. Sister lock, everything you need to know about dreadlocks. This lady's who you need to link. And actually, she's been established since 1992.
Yes, I have.
Okay, well, I would like for you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm a licensed cosmetologist, also a licensed esthetician. I'm a certified Sister Lux consultant, certified, meaning I'm one of the only people in Toronto that can actually train someone who already has Sister Lux in their hair, how to retention their hair. I have owned my own hair salon for over 13 years now, and I really do enjoy doing hair.
And I mean, earlier, before the show started, you had natural dreadlocks before, Sister Lock. Can you maybe explain to some of the people who don't know what the difference is? Because I didn't know until.
Okay, so I had traditional locks for 17 years, and they were really long, and I just wanted to change. I just wanted to try something new. So I found out about Sister Locks, and I wanted to explore it. So I cut my hair, and for the last 3 years I've been wearing Sister Locks. So the difference between the traditional locks and the Sister Locks, the traditional locks, it's heavier, it's thicker, it's not as versatile. You know, with the Sister Locks, you can do so much more with it. It's more, I find like a lot more professional people is coming to have Sister Locks done because it's more accessible in the professional world. Yeah, so I have like lawyers and principal, vice principal, those type of people coming asking for Sister Locks rather than the traditional locks. The traditional locks, it's not as
versatile.
Yeah, and most people find it's not as feminine, or they can't do as much styles with it. So yeah.
Well, judging from your style, like I mean, I'm almost convinced to be the Sister Lock. But just to set that aside, what originally made you go natural? What motivated you originally? Because you came from traditional to Sister Lock, but before traditional lock, how were you rocking your hair?
Oh, I did everything. So I did the perm, the weave. Because I started off before doing natural hair, I started off doing chemical silks. And because of the chemicals, and I find a lot of people are having side effects, or like I know people in the industry starting to get cancer, having to do operation because their sinus cavity closing off from the set of chemical breathing in. I wanted to do a transition over, so that's why I made a switch from chemical to traditional, doing natural stuff.
That's where I asked.
Yeah.
You skip that version. But I know, sometimes you forget, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of sisters are out there doing permanent. There's also a lot of sisters out there that want natural, but we don't know to maintain our natural hair. What advice would you give sisters like those?
I find it quite surprising in the earlys that a lot of people were coming in and didn't know how to actually work with their hair. And then I kind of checked back because from so little we've been perming or pressing, or we didn't know what to do. Like, our parents didn't know what to do, so they did that because it was an easier way. But now there's so many different chemical like products that you can use that you can more manage the hair. So
basically they should contact you because you're the...
Yeah, and I can make the transition for you,
And also, like, what would you say to those sisters that are still using chemical, those aspects? Because I've seen a lot of sisters like myself rocking short hair, like our next guest is about to come on, rocking short hair, and we're comfortable with our body, right? What would you say to those sisters that are still continuing to use this damaging chemical as opposed to our last interview? I should say, researching from online, realizing that some of these chemicals have been duplicated and so forth. What would you say to them to try and stay away from those kind of chemicals?
Well, me personally, it's a personal thing. Like, I would suggest and prefer that people do go the natural way, just for health reasons, and I find a lot of people that's using the chemical, they have like a lot of problems with their hair thinning, or like also the medical stuff, because the chemical do actually go into your system to some degree. So I would advise them, like check out the natural hair supplies that carry the products that can help them enhance their hair and their beauty, and they don't necessarily need to have to put something on artificial to feel beautiful.
I mean,
they can
just show off your hairstyle. Turn around, let the camera see your hairstyle. It's beautiful. I mean, look at this. This is natural. And yeah, you drop a little bit of color in there, but you enhance the beauty, right?
Yeah.
Without their harmful chemical.
Right.
So once again, this sister is specialized. Okay, she's actually you're actually one of the few sisters that are actually registered that we can actually.
Yeah, and I'm one of the only hair salon in Toronto that do like natural services.
Yeah, but you forgot to mention that earlier. Like you're leaving that out. That's what we should be promoting. Like you're the only natural. You know how hard it is to find a natural hairstylist in Toronto?
I know, very.
Okay, that's
very
why
hard.
that should be the first.
Right.
One of the only. And she's located at 3133
Shepherd Avenue East.
In this call?
416-850-4085.
And you also have a website?
Yes, celebrityunisex.com.
Okay, and you heard it from Miss Avalon. She can be found on, of course, your website, Celebrity Unisex Hair Salon. Also, 3133 Shepherd Avenue. And of course, you can mention your number one more time. Give it to the sisters that are really looking to make that transition. And we also have an offer, right? Did you mention your name?
Yeah, so if you call in and you say that you look at the show tonight, you can get 100% off any Sister Lot service.
$100. She meant to say $100.
Oh my God, yes, $100. Sorry, not 100%.
That would be a free service. Okay, this is my show. Okay, sisters, don't be calling her phone number right now. Yeah, it's okay. So it's okay. It's a nice show, right? You watch Wendy. You just say, yeah, we're live. It's personal.
Yeah.
Okay, so, of course, mention that you're watching this show tonight at ietvcanada.com, the industry. And you will be eligible for $100 of your services.
Yeah.
And you also do consulting before you.
Yeah, so you have to, it's a 3-step process. If you're going to get Sister Locks done, you have to call, we set up the appointment, you come in, I do the consultation to see if, like what size you want, the pattern, the whole process. And then we actually book the appointment, and then you get this process done, and then there's a follow-up after.
Okay, now I personally saw this question online where somebody was asking if I used to perm or use chemical service, and then I have not done it in about 6 months, and I decided I want to do sister lock or traditional lock. Which one would be better? What would you advise to that person? That was an online question, so I'm not sure where it was coming from.
Yeah, well, Sister Locks, definitely. The transition, you can actually go from perm into Sister Locks once you have it without cutting your hair. So you can kind of have like a micro braids effect.
Okay, well, you heard it from the celebrity hairstylist herself, Miss Avalon. So make sure you contact this lady. Any questions you have, and also mention ietvcanada.com. Get you $100 off. Call for consulting. Thank you for visiting us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. IETV Canada, the industry. We'll be right back with our last and final guest.
Just like the sun.